Hey guys, this is David and Jessica Lee, and this is our Level 4 report on our technology implementation project. We chose to use the Web 2.0 tool called Piktochart.
So just to give you a brief overview of the problem, I'll give you some background first on what our class was doing in terms of how we landed on Piktochart. So for 2 weeks, my fifth grade class was doing an argumentative essay, and I did a 2 week unit on planning, writing, conferencing, and as we came to a close or the close of our assignment, I wanted to somehow be able to share that information and present that and publish it and celebrate it. And the problem came when I realized that most of these essays were anywhere from 800 to 1200 words, and it would have been really, really boring for the kids to just get up in front of the class and just read their essays. So I thought about it and decided that there were a couple of things we could have done. This semester, I explored a tool called VoiceThread and thought about maybe letting them put pictures and recording that, but still they'd be reading their whole essay. And I kept thinking about it. What could I do with it? I wanted them to be able to share their information, and not only that, afterwards I wanted them to be able to display it in the hall. And if we did that, they'd be relatively blank, just essays hanging up. And I've done things where they had to draw a cover or something like that. And with VoiceThread, with any presentation tool, the limitations are that you'd have to you could print out multiple slides, and even then that wouldn't be a summative. You know, their ideas wouldn't be summarized, and I wanted a place where they could just be quickly seen.
So, in looking for something to fill David's classroom needs, I was also looking at a similar problem with my juniors in high school, looking to help them learn how to find real world data, like David's class was doing. In my unit that I've been teaching for the last couple of weeks on um, love, sex, and dating, I asked my students this time around to research a couple topics instead of just listening to me teach about them. And in this, I was hoping to give them an opportunity to find ownership over the real world data instead of just trusting me that it was true. So I also wanted to give them more than just an essay assignment, more than just words, but to give them a way to use images, use their creativity to create something that which would explain all the research and the data they had found, and to be able to master it and communicate it effectively. So we were looking for something that would help our students create something or produce something visually captivating, and also it needed to be free, it needed to be relatively intuitive and easy to use for fifth graders and juniors in high school. And we wanted it to be customizable, to be shareable, something that they could save, something that would be interesting for others to look into. And when we found Piktochart, we were really excited about the possibilities that it would bring to our classrooms.
This is a quick online tutorial that we showed our classes prior to using Piktochart. Before looking at any of the examples or looking at any of the tools or features, we just wanted to give them an overview of what the tool could do.
In Piktochart, you can create a simple infographic in a matter of minutes. Don't believe me? Well, in this video, you can see for yourself. So, once you have signed up or logged in, go ahead and pick a theme. Go to the PictoThemes page and click Create to start editing. Name your infographic. Change the title and add text. You can change the background and add in icons or photos to make it more visually exciting. Change icons' colors to better fit the palette of your infographic. Got some data? Visualize it by adding a chart or a map. Finished? Now simply distribute the link and publish your work on social media channels.
So when we were picking Piktochart, we justified it because it covered frameworks for the 21st century skills. And the first one I want to go over really quickly is critical thinking. In critical thinking and in Piktochart, the students are really trying to use effectively inductive and deductive reasoning, trying to figure out what is true, what's proven, or what's true in most cases. There's systems thinking. They have to figure out how parts act with the whole as far as spatial understanding. If I do this, how does it affect the whole thing? They have to make judgments with systems. They analyze and evaluate arguments. In their research in my class and for Jessica's while they're doing it, they have to make connections while they're putting things in there. How does this block relate to my overarching goal? Does it support my claim? How does the layout impact what's around it? Things like that. They have to solve problems, whether they're familiar or unfamiliar. And in most cases, it's unfamiliar because this is a whole new tool for them. They have to identify and ask questions that lead to better solutions. More than just, how do I do this? But I really got them to try to ask, I tried to create this, but I don't like how it's displayed. Can you show me how to create something better?
Piktochart also uses communication and covers communication skills like speaking skills, nonverbal speaking skills, as well as verbal. Students see that it's more than just the words you use, but the images that you create for your audience. Nonverbal context also, teaching and presenting being just as important as what you're teaching and presenting. It also covers a lot of listening skills, like how to pay attention to attitudes, intentions, know when something's serious or not serious. And also, it uses things like multimedia and tech, giving them the ability to have powerful images, powerful charts, powerful quotes, powerful presentation. This communicating what they're trying to communicate to their audience, which is the amazing research that they work so hard to find.
So collaboration goes hand in hand with communication. And with collaboration, we really just wanted the kids to be able to effectively, respectfully, within teams if needed, to work on a project together. Kids would focus on, or I saw my kids focusing on their own strengths, and that organically started to work together. Sometimes I suggest a certain person to work with this person if they needed help with graphs, this person to work with this person if they needed help with design. And there was also valuing the contributor as they learn to help others and work together to accomplish a goal.
And the last of the 4 C's is creativity. We saw that students were able to experience failure and try again, find better research if it didn't seem to pan out in their Piktochart the way they were hoping, and self-evaluate and see if they've done as good a job as they thought they had by looking at the way the research turned out and comparing their research to other students' research, finding frequent mistakes and small successes inside of that, also seeing failure as a chance to overcome it.
I used Piktochart within my 5th grade class of 20 students. Again, at the tail end of our research assignment, I wanted to help them figure out a way to display their data creatively. This is a group of my girls working together. This is me giving one of many lectures on design implementation and layout.
I used Piktochart in 2 sections of Junior Bible, which is about 30 students, and they were able to choose the topic that they researched on love, sex, and dating. This group at the front of the room all chose the same topic, so they were helping each other find research and use Piktochart and make sure they didn't use the same data. So that was pretty interesting to watch them do that together. But it was this is how I implemented Piktochart in my classroom.
Jessica and I will briefly go over two student examples, and we'll have more examples within our Google site. So this is an example from one of my students, Caroline, who did a research paper on antidepressants and how they are ineffective. So as you can see, she created a couple of charts using PictoChart with the data that she wanted to display that would best help support her claim. She has a quote from a doctor here who did a placebo research study, and a couple more charts that she created, why antidepressants don't work, their side effects, and how there are better ways to treat depression.
This is one of my student examples by Mike. He researched the difference between getting married before you're 25 and after you're 25. And some of the information he found I thought was pretty interesting. He also looked at divorce rates, comparing the two different age groups. He looked at salary, education. He found some really interesting stuff, and it was interesting to see his response to it as well. Here are our results and lessons learned. For my junior class, I looked back over the last 4 years in the development of this unit, and I can see a great success in using PictoChart as their culminating activity versus the activities I've given before. I saw a lot more buy-in in the material and a lot more engagement in working on this assignment than I have in any of the assignments I've given in years past on these same topics. The students came into class with more information to debate, a lot more understanding on the topics, and we could have a lot better discussion in class because of this project. And I think it does have to do with how much they enjoyed using PictoChart to present their information. Some of the lessons I learned was first that I'm going to try next time to use research before I give them the opportunity to create a PictoChart and ask them to present their research to me ahead of time. Also, I'm going to go over more technical instructions with them about what I'm looking for in their PictoChart, as well as how much research and how much data they need to present. I'm also going to give them more exact technical instructions with how I'd like for them to turn it in. Those were the problems I had that I learned from in this time using PictoChart.
Overall, I think using PictoChart to conclude the argumentative essays for my class was a huge success. I think the students were able to create something that, in the end, mirrors something I'd hoped their future keynotes and PowerPoints would look like, which is less text or sentences, more headlines, something visually interesting to look at that had more talking points. And I think when it comes time to present our research in class, we'll have a more engaged audience and a more informed presenter because of the time and energy laboring over their essays and PictoChart. And as an educator, I learned a lot from watching my students build something using a new tool. As with any new program, I think it takes time to learn the ins and outs and go through the trial and error process of building something using a new interface. If you compare how long it took the kids to build their first keynote and saw over time how much quicker they could do it, it's amazing how fast kids can learn. And I just wonder if the reverse would be true for my class. And the next time I did this, if creating the PictoChart first would help them create better essays. As some students transferred data to charts, I think some realized that their essays were actually quite weak and lacked concrete data, but rather their arguments were supported and based more on opinions and outdated information. If they could build the chart first, they could use and organize the data in each of the layered blocks, much like the supporting paragraphs in an essay, to mirror more of their thesis statement. And therefore, when it came time to transfer data to concrete, strong argumentative essays, they all would be rooted in data that was well researched and already organized.
This presentation that you just watched was created on PictoChart. We hope that you all will try it out, and thank you so much for listening and watching our presentation.